So for the last few Sundays, we've been talking about what? What are they called? Amphia, very good. The raso is the black robe, that's called the raso. But these are called amphia. Okay, and we said the first one called? Stiharion, very good. The cuffs? Oh, you made some. Oh, let me see.
I made this for you.
You made this for me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Very nice.
What is it called?
What is it called? Oh, you made an epigonation for me. Oh, very nice. See? Perfectly matches the color. You know what though? Can you put your name on it so that I can remember that you gave it to me? Thank you. This is such a beautiful gift. Thank you for doing that. Epigonation. And what did we say the epigonation means? What does it stand for? Your attorney's telling you in your ear. It's an award, yes, it's an award. And in there, in the old days, the priest or the bishop used to have either scrolls of the Bible or the letter that proved he was ordained. And he would show it where he would go, and people he could collect. He had the authority, he was given permission to collect from the people. He would put whatever gold coins or silver coins in here, and then he would distribute it to the people who were poor and they needed the money. So that's what the epigonation. Not everyone has this, but some priests have this. And then the last thing we said, this is difficult, the epetrachilion, okay, the epetrachilion. But what I want you to remember is that, what does it represent? The sheep. The sheep on the shoulders that the priest, like a shepherd, is bringing back to the fold, bringing back to the family where everybody else is. Okay, so you see the vestments of the priest are very important. Very, very important. Today is the Sunday of Orthodoxy. It's the day, many people think it's just the day in which icons come back in the church, but it's more than that. There is what they call, you don't have to know this, but it's called a synodikon, which talks about all of the things that is okay in the church. It's okay to have them in the church. And one of the things are the vestments of the priest, and other things too. And of course the icons as well. So today, at the end, you're going to see we're going to go all the way around the church with icons. That they did it many, many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, they did it. With the patriarch, and we still do it to remind ourselves that we have been given something very valuable in the church over the years, and we have to protect it. But today, if you looked at that brochure that I put, which I say every Sunday what we're going to study, today we're going to study what's called the Ikonostasi. Ikonostasi. The Ikonostasi is this, that's made out of wood, and ikones, icons, stasis, that which you stand, like a stand for the icon. And in the early days, it was just small, little stands. The icons were on little stands. And as time went on, it became more and more and more and more and more elaborate, and it became like this, more and more tall. And if you go to a Russian church, or sometimes very old Greek churches, you see that the Ikonostasi doesn't end there. Notice how you can see in the back there?
All the way to the ceiling.
Oh, it goes all the way to the ceiling. All the way up to separate, and the doors would close, because in the synagogue, that's what it was. There used to be a curtain there. And today, even today, if you go to a synagogue, a traditional synagogue, there is a curtain there, and the very important holy things are behind there. See? But when Jesus died on the cross, it says that the curtain was cut in two. Well, the curtain that was cut in two is this. So in the Orthodox, before the liturgy starts, the priest says a prayer, and he opens the doors. There are doors there. And he opens the doors to remind us that when Jesus died on the cross, he opened the doors, and now we can come in. We can go in to be with God by receiving Holy Communion. Okay, so very important, the Ikonostasi. Now on the Ikonostasi, no matter where you go, no matter what church you go to, 3 icons are always the same. 3 of them. Well, really 5 of them are always the same. But 3 of them for sure. You know what they are? The first one is Jesus. Always, always, Jesus, as I'm looking at you, on my left side. Always. He's always there. And then always, the second place of honor goes to the Panagia. Always. In every church you go in. No matter if it's Russian Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox, Albanian, African, always on the right is the Panagia. And then, always, 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 who's that over there? John the Baptist. And how do we know? If you see, his head was cut off. Some bad people didn't like what he was doing because he was preaching, and they actually cut his head off. And if you look at the icon, you see, although his head is on the icon, you see the icon in like a platter. And I'm going to talk about that in my sermon to the adults later on. So always, 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 St. John the Baptist is on the left of Jesus. And if you want to know, this is the two more things I want to share with you. If you want to know what is the name of the church, you don't have to ask anybody. You go into the church and you look at the icon always next to the Panagia, next to the Virgin Mary, that's the name of the church. So this is the Church of the Annunciation, right? So that's the icon of the Annunciation. So in every Orthodox church, it's like that. But let's say it's the Holy Trinity, the Church of the Holy Trinity. That icon would be the icon of the Holy Trinity. If it was the Church of St. Mark, the church that I was with in Boca Raton, it would be St. Mark would be there. So that's how you know. Walk into a church, go to that icon, that's the name of the church. Always. And then the other two things, or one thing, but they're the same, and this is very important, and this is, I speak to the altar boys as well as to the parish council members for this, just so you know. When you look at the altar, can you go in any of those doors? No. And if you look, you'll see always in every Orthodox church there are angels on the doors. But if you look carefully, they're not the same angel. What is that angel holding?
A sword.
A sword, isn't it? So would you go to a door in which there was an angel standing there with a sword and go in? No. I would be afraid to go in that door. In the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve were told to get out, God put an angel with a sword so that they could not re-enter at the door. That's what that represents. So when you go into the altar, you never go in that door. Why? Because there's an angel with a sword there. You know, you're supposed to go in that door. You go in this door. And if you look at that door, that angel does not have a sword, does he? But he's still an angel. Okay? But here's the difference. That's the angel Michael, always with a sword. And this is the angel Gabriel. And what did Gabriel do? What do we know him about? He told Mary that she was going to have a baby. And her baby was going to be Jesus. So he says the good news. He says, Jesus is coming, come on in. That angel says, no, Adam and Eve sinned, you can't come in. So you can't come in that door, we go in this door. So if you notice, whenever the priest comes with anything, he always comes out that door. And he can go in this door, but by right, the altar boys are supposed to go in that door, not this door, in order to represent the theology of our church. And there's much, much more, but that's what I wanted to share with you. So next week when we come back, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to say to you, what's this icon? What's that icon? And you should be able to tell me. Okay? Thank you. Please rise.